Hello, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to this afternoon episode of What You Gotta Say. For those of you on Roku, YouTube, Facebook, hey, how you doing? Now, of course, you know from some of you, you've been putting in some chats, and we love that. Also, for a lot of you, don't be afraid. Call in. We're going to talk. It's the Three Wise Ones Tuesday, and I've got Reverend Dr. Army Major, maybe one day Lieutenant Colonel, Shellerine Lang, and we're going to come right back in 2 minutes. 2 seconds.
Your small business struggled through the pandemic to stay afloat. You need more exposure. Radio and printed ads are good for pet liners. Television commercials are overpriced. Social media ads start cheap, end up expenses. You need an ad team that can get you multimedia exposure. You need MyTV. MyTV will develop a commercial tailored to your business. To get your maximum sales, contact sales@theratemytv.church.
Life has many twists and turns, and it can take you off track. Disakajo's Flow is here to help you dance through the twists and lean into the turns. From spiritual trauma-informed life coaching, to book publishing, to record producing, to credit empowerment, to amazing travel, we are here to change your whole life. Let us help you get your life back on track.
Hey, welcome back. Now, happy post Memorial Day for some, um, but let's get a few things straight. A lot of people think that Memorial Day deals with everybody in the military, and that's half true. But Memorial Day started 1862, the Reconstruction by the Freedmen Group, established by Abraham Lincoln. It all started in South Carolina, Charleston, where the Confederate buried the Union behind an old racetrack. The Freedmen Group found out and decided to turn it into a cemetery. So, May 1st, the Freedmen Group, which consisted of a great deal of formerly slave, now free men, had a parade where they walked down to the racetrack carrying flowers, singing spiritual hymns, and giving great gratitude and service for those who have given their life for the cost of freedom. At there, the general gave a speech in which he said, all give some, but some give all. And today we're honoring the some who gave all for freedom. So Memorial Day isn't about barbecue flower or the sales. It's about giving honor, recognition, and a debt, a little thanks and gratitude for a debt that we can never repay. Someone giving their life for the cost of freedom. Now, me being formerly in the United States military and talking with Reverend Dr. Army Major Lang. How do you feel about that?
You know what's interesting? So many people when they encounter me, they say thank you for your service, thank you for your service. And while that makes me feel good, there are a lot of people who are broken on Memorial Day because it's a sad day. And we've turned it into parades and barbecues. While it's good to honor those who are gone, we still have to understand that a lot of people are sad. They're mourning those who they loved. And so we have to find a balance to honor, to celebrate, and just to give some space for people to grieve. And we don't really do that. We see it as a day off, and we're like, it's
Mm.
Memorial Day weekend. The pool is open.
Yay!
Hey,
Yeah, get rid of kids for a few hours. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Understandable. So we've had a crazy few days. Let's start with, we haven't talked about the mass shootings, or although we did touch on one, the mass shooting in Buffalo.
yeah.
But then right after
It's
our
interesting
broadcast,
how, yeah, right after the broadcast, and there's been like 20 mass shootings since then. It's crazy.
yes.
I don't know what people are thinking. The brokenness that's in this world is really relevant. The interesting thing is you don't hear about mass shootings in other countries. You just hear it here. I mean, you hear about suicide bombers. They're doing something, because of their faith, because of their religion, because of the war. Here, people just shooting up people, like, and then you don't even know why. It's tragic, and it's traumatizing, and that's it's traumatizing.
Well, we'll dive into the trauma of it, but in terms of mass shootings this year, we've had more mass shootings than we've got days in the year.
It's ridiculous.
And
I think about
we're
the mothers and the fathers of the mass shooters. Like, I can't imagine what that grandmother is going to say when she wakes up from being shot in the face by her grandson. Like, that's going to be
yes,
insane.
he actually it looked like he patterned his after Sandy Hook, where the suspect killed his mother, shot her in the face.
Yeah, it makes you wonder what is radicalizing these mass shooters? Like, what are they listening to? What are they watching that this is the course of action that they choose?
Uh, don't know. They haven't actually. Well, they did track down the mass shooter, and listening to his media spectrum, um, it was Tucker Carlson.
Really?
Yes, the replacement theory, which they
All
don't call
right.
replacement theory. And by the way, we did coin replacement theory. So all of you other media groups talking about it, send me a check.
Send me a check. Send me a check.
That's right.
Yeah.
Every time somebody says replacement theory, I need a check. Okay.
Wow.
Oh no,
How
I heard it
likely
on
is
two.
that gonna happen?
I heard it on two different media sources today, talking about
Yeah.
replacement theory. But Tucker Carlson, I think the guy was an advocate, trumpeter, and he believed, like a lot of other white people, that blacks and Jews were coming to replace them in their jobs and their money
Now
and
that
their
was
women.
for Buffalo, right? That was for Buffalo, right?
That was for Buffalo. Yes, yes.
Now it doesn't
No,
make sense what's going on in Texas, like, because that young man was a part of the community. That was his
yes,
community.
he was part of the community, which gets which I say is not extremely liked, because the majority of people that live in his community work for the border patrol.
I thought it was very interesting how the story came out initially that he was engaged, and then the officers talked to him, all this other stuff. And then when it all shakes out, nobody went in there. He was in there for 40 minutes with those little brown children. So
Yes,
that speaks
playing
volumes.
playing dead. Those little children having to play dead to stay alive.
Traumatized
Well,
forever.
yeah, calling the police and saying, we're here with him. He's in here with us. Please come in. We hear the police outside. Come in. you know,
Yeah. And they've been doing
Yes.
active shooter training, which is a tragedy, first of all, that you have to teach children what to do for active shooter. But then the police officers were trained in active shooting events. Nothing worked. I can't imagine being a parent having to explain to a child that after all of this training you've done, what failed you was the police.
Mm. Especially because the police sat up there and requested once they got there for armor, body armor. After they got to the active, after they got there and found the guy shooting. I mean, and then here is the part that really got me. Some of the children belong to, the Border Patrol, and a couple of the parents had to go in there. They had to push past the police that was holding them back, break into school, knock out the windows to get their kids out, where the police were there and didn't do any of that.
That is ridiculous. It sounds to me
Yes.
like there's going to be a whole new police force.
Well, let's see. I think they've got a police force of 9
Oh,
actual policemen. Yeah. Yes.
wow.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
In
going to
fact,
be a lot of trauma going on.
there are more parents licensed to carry because they work for the Border Patrol. In fact, the Border Patrol tactical unit had to come in and save the kids.
Somebody's head is going to roll.
Yes. Let's start with the mayor, then the police chief, and then all the police themselves. I mean,
Yeah.
because let's look at it. If you're not afraid, if you're afraid to run into fire, possibly sacrificing your life to protect and serve, then you don't need to be a police officer.
Yeah, I'm suspect. I wonder if it's because they're brown children. Were the police was it the police force brown? The 9
Well,
are they brown?
there was one who was brown, and
Mhm.
all he said in the interview was, "This is enough. This is enough. There doesn't need to be any more mass shootings or killings of schools and innocent children." He just said that this is enough. We've had it. This has to be enough. You know.
Has to be enough. I'm not convinced
Yes.
that this is enough because they still had the NRA rally. You know, the governor is still blaming what?
The media.
Mental illness? Blaming
No, the media.
what?
The media.
Right.
He's blaming the media. Yeah, the media. Video games. He's blaming them.
But what does an 18-year-old need a weapon like that for? Why do they need 365 rounds of ammunition? Why at 18? Why do you need that?
And 2 assault rifles.
What I want to know is why do they even sell those weapons anyway? What are people shooting?
Well, of course, on their application, they say for hunting.
Oh. So what are you killing with an assault rifle? Like, are you shooting Bambi with an assault rifle?
Obviously, no. They're shooting 10-year-olds.
Exactly.
Besides,
I was
when you
listening to
hunt,
I was listening to somebody. I guess it was CNN or MSNBC. Somebody was playing this reel of our former president saying that they're trying to take all the guns away. They're trying to take all the guns away, and this is just a ploy to take all the guns away. I said this
Oh, yeah.
ridiculousness is continuing, and it's
See-
not going to cease. It's not going to cease.
see, what gets me is not the fact of the stupidity that he said, because 45 has said some incredibly stupid things. What gets me is the stupidity of people who believe what he says.
Yeah, you know what I find so interesting? So interesting. When he was running for president, he kept saying, there's a whole group of people that nobody is talking to. And he kept saying it, and he kept saying it. And I said, who are these group of people? Because it wasn't the people you would think. What he's gone and done is he's found the people who feel like they've been forgotten about. And now he has become their hero. But the things that he's fighting for is not even helping them. It's not even
No.
helping them. Financially,
He's
education is not even helping them.
No, he's exploiting them for his benefit. Okay.
But he's got them like this though. It doesn't even matter. They could be living in a trailer park. They could be homeless. But I'm telling you, whatever he's selling, they are buying.
Well, here's his demographics. He does have some people who have a level of intelligence and IQ. However, his demographics is 25 to 55. Majority of them are either failed businesses, failed careers, and feel that America owes them something.
Yeah. You know what it reminds me of?
What's
in
that?
Harlem Nights. Remember when the police officer in Harlem Nights, when he was talking to Richard Pryor, and he said, "You living like this, and I'm living in a hovel." I think part of his targeted audience are folk who are mad, and that's why this whole replacement theory is really running rampant, because they don't want to see us succeed, because we took their position. So now they're mad, and he's feeding that, and that's why it's so divisive. I remember when I was a chaplain, I won't even mention where I was, but I went to see a patient, and it was a trailer park. There was nobody looked like me up in there, but they called me the N-word because I came to see their parent. I was the N-word, and they didn't want me there. Now, I pulled up to your trailer park in a Mercedes. So how am I? So help me understand who is on which level, because I'm trying to understand what you're talking about. Mad at me because I'm successful and I've got something higher socioeconomically than you. So now you mad. So now you want to call me the N-word? And this was what, 5 years ago? This wasn't back in the 60s. This was 5 years ago. I don't want the N-word taking care of my mom as she pulling up with 5 degrees, all this kind of stuff. But some people, it doesn't matter. That's why this replacement theory is so dangerous. The more successful you feel your competition is, the more you feel emboldened to say, no, y'all took my stuff. So now I need my stuff back. We look at Charlottesville. Jews will not replace us. Okay, so it wasn't just Jews they talking about. We overlook that kind of stuff, and look how quickly Charlottesville just kind of melded, faded into the background.
But I'm sure they're both good people on both sides, because it's going away.
It's insane.
I'm sure. Well, here, okay, so let's look at the demographics. Oh, actually, it happened to me in I think it was 86, where, I got pulled over in a Bentley, and the same reaction by the police.
Like, how did you get that car? How are you driving that? Yeah. So when my son wanted a new car, and he was looking at a Benz, and he was looking at a BMW, and I told him, you can't get that car because now you're going to be a target. They're going to pull you over because now they want to know how this young black man got this car. If you was a white dude, they would think, hey, maybe your mom gave it to you, grandma, but don't be brown and live in large. You're a drug dealer, you stole it, or you playing basketball.
I got news for you, Dr. Lang. It doesn't stop there. Then they put you on the flash. So every police officer within a 20-mile radius every day will pull him over, like they did me.
Really?
And ask the same question. Yeah.
That's tragic.
Yeah. It got so bad that, it got so bad that I actually stopped driving the car.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Because of that. Yeah. But we're going to get back to the subject. We're going to talk a little bit more about the shooting. And then we're going to talk about people of faith who tend to get in the way. I'm Vincent Squire, and I've got Reverend Dr. Shellerine Lang, and we'll be right back. 2 minutes, 2 seconds.
Your small business struggled through the pandemic to stay afloat. You need more exposure. Radio and printed ads are good for pet liners. Television commercials are overpriced. Social media ads start cheap, end up expenses. You need an ad team that can get you multimedia exposure. You need MyTV. MyTV will develop a commercial tailored to your business. To get your maximum sales, contact sales@theratemytv.church.
Life has many twists and turns, and it can take you off track. Disakajo's Flow is here to help you dance through the twists and lean into the turns. From spiritual trauma-informed life coaching, to book publishing, to record producing, to credit empowerment, to amazing travel, we are here to change your whole life. Let us help you get your life back on track.
Yeah. So Reginald Lewis, and I love this book, and the chapter was called "I Pay More in Taxes Than You Make All Year." So I started reading more into that chapter, and this is once I think he was like 2 years buying the Beatrice Corporation.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, so he had bought this house in Martha's Vineyard, and he had a Bentley. So driving up to, and he also had a house in New York. He had a mansion in New York, right? So he's driving up to his mansion, and he gets pulled over by a white police officer, who starts questioning him about, why or how does a man like you get this kind of car? And he looked at him and he said, "You know what? I probably make more. He said, I probably pay more each year in taxes than you make."
That probably made it bad.
It did. But I mean, it did raise the point. Black people for a certain time period, a big time period, were considered or were trained to be invisible.
Yeah.
Seen, but not
heard.
seen.
Yes.
Yeah, yes. Exactly. So now that you are seen and your visual effects is loud, that makes those who don't have hate you more.
Yeah.
So there is nothing worse than dealing with a white person who hates you because you have worked, you have sacrificed, you have learned, studied, you have eaten crap for so long, and now you have reached your level, and they're upset about that.
Yeah.
And they to bring you back down to what they have you pegged as. They wanted to put you back in that box that they believe you should be in.
Yeah.
And the worst one, and the ones that do that the most are the cops. That's one of the big reasons we run into. So now in the 80s, the attitude of the young black man was still, like what our father said: look, keep your hands on the wheel, have everything ready. Yes, sir. No, sir. Yes, sir. No, sir. Because the objective
you said that
is
was
to
the
get home.
80s, right?
Yes.
We still
That
doing
was
that
the
in 24.
Oh, no. Young black men aren't doing that anymore.
Oh.
That's why they're getting shot.
Oh, man.
No. Young black men feel just as entitled as these young white men. And it comes out of their mouth is, "Why you pull me over? I ain't do nothing. This is this is that. You just," and the next thing you know, stop resisting, stop going for my gun. Oh, I fear for my life with this black man here, and I shot him.
Yeah. While mass shooters are getting arrested with their guns after shooting up the place. How you get arrested with your gun? Nobody was scared. Nobody feared for their life in Buffalo. You just
Not
walk
one
up
of
to
them.
him with his gun and you just arrest him like that.
There you go. Well, what did he do with Dylan Roof? The police officer just took the gun from him, stuck it in his waist, and then took him to Burger King.
Took him to, but that is insane to me. And people say, "Oh, we're not a racist country." Like our current president says, that is not America. Okay, it is America.
Yes, it is. What America you been living in, Joe? Cut it out.
It is America, and it happens in Delaware.
It happens a lot in Delaware. In fact,
So,
it happens in Delaware so much that is probably the only state where I do under the speed limit.
I understand.
What's driving through Delaware, Maryland, North Carolina, South Carolina? Yeah, I'm 5 miles under the speed limit, y'all.
You might get pulled over for that.
Definitely. So, all right. So here's the timeline. The shooter, a teacher, at 11 o'clock, the shooter crashed a car, grabbed his AK-47 and his ammo, dropped 230 rounds of it, kept going with 100 rounds, 116 rounds. At 11:15, a teacher propped the door open so that she can get her cell phone out the car. 11:20, shots fired in the school. 11:27, police responded and stayed outside. They stayed outside until 47 minutes, where quote unquote they didn't get the call, the green light to charge the shooter. Now everybody knows in mass shooting training, and I took the military training, where you are and you travel, they give you the training on run, fight, flight, or hide. Yeah. Okay. So especially when we're traveling to other countries.
Yeah.
All right. Well, one thing that they remind you of is that, this is real life. So it's not 45 minutes of shooting drama action. No, it's usually done and majority of the casualties are done within the first 5 minutes. So police standing outside the door for 45 minutes didn't make sense.
It makes no sense. It makes no sense. And a lot of people, rightly so, you're going to have a lot of lawsuits.
I think they know that. I think they're just getting geared up for that. I think they're probably just settling right now. How much you want? Here's a check. But
I saw that one family, the governor apparently wanted to meet with the parents of the children who got killed. And one family said, no, we don't want to meet with him. Our daughter didn't even like you.
Okay, so all right, so the congressman goes up to the governor, Rick Abbott, and he tells the governor, "You had the power to stop this." So
yeah,
all right. So everybody, all the governor's constituents. Now he has this press conference, right? This is what I hate about the press conference. You know what he said? Pray for Texas. We need prayers. We need prayers. Oh, we don't need prayers. We've been praying. We were praying in El Paso when it got shot up all the Mexicans. And then right after that, you loosened the gun laws. No, we don't need prayers, because prayers without work is what, Reverend?
Dead.
Thank you. What we need is work.
You know what? Massa was praying too while he was raping slaves and beating them. Massa was praying too.
Yeah, while he was demasculating.
He was praying too while they was killing black folk and taking our land and not giving us nothing.
They were praying too.
Praying today who are living off the backs of black folk who built everything they had, that they had gave no reparations. They still praying too.
Oh yeah, he was still praying when he ran the American indigenous people off of their land and said it was theirs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they was
he
praying
was.
when they gave
Yeah,
the Native Americans a disease and killed them all. They were still praying.
yeah, smallpox. Yeah, he was still praying.
So I guess prayer is relative to what you want.
No, prayers is relative to the God and who you believe in. Now, if you believe that you have a God who has made you superior because he's got blonde hair and blue eyes, although there was no blonde hair, blue eyes indigenous people, and
Come on, say it. They ain't no
and
blonde hair, blue eyed
and
people
blue
over
eyed
in
people,
Africa.
or Bethlehem or Israel or Egypt, especially in what was it, 100 BC? Really?
Yeah, there's no blonde hair, blue eyed folk over there.
So if you're
And they
praying to
said
that,
Jesus' hair was like a wool. So what kind of hair did he have? It wasn't that kind of hair in the picture I saw.
I know, right? And the blue eyes, but that's a whole. Yes, I know, but yeah, but he says that. Oh no, the state needs prayer. No, you don't need prayer. What we need is work. Because you got a whole group of people that spread all of that propaganda about blacks and Jews and Mexicans or anybody who has a little melanin in their skin that are going to replace you while you wallow around in mediocrity and get upset when somebody surpasses you. No, you don't need prayers anymore. You need some action. This is what we need to do, Doctor.
You know what I find interesting? That there was such a level of sensitivity to the whole Ukrainian Russian incident that's going on right now. I mean, they were just like, oh my goodness, they had to bring him over, and it was so much. It was so devastating. But then when you guys
we had to change the law.
Right now,
we had to change. No, we had to change the law because the Ukrainians are waiting to get in America from Mexico. So we had the laws that we had to keep the Mexicans from coming in here. We had to change that so that we could bring the Ukrainians in here.
And that's something. Now we giving them billions of dollars, but you got homeless people living at the train station in DC. Isn't that something?
Oh wait a minute. We're giving them billions of dollars, but they canceled abruptly the SBA loans that were going small business, small black businesses. Yes, abruptly. It went to Ukraine.
Yeah. Yep. Well, you gotta follow the money.
We're going to take a break. I'm Vincent Squire with Reverend Dr. Shalarain Lang, and we're going to come back and we're bringing in everybody's favorite, Rabbi Seth Frisch. See you all. 2 minutes. 2 seconds.
Your small business struggled through the pandemic to stay afloat. You need more exposure. Radio and printed ads are good for pet liners. Television commercials are overpriced. Social media ads start cheap, end up expenses. You need an ad team that can get you multimedia exposure. You need MyTV. MyTV will develop a commercial tailored to your business. To get your maximum sales, contact sales@theratemytv.church.
Life has many twists and turns, and it can take you off track. Disakajo's Flow is here to help you dance through the twists and lean into the turns. From spiritual trauma-informed life coaching, to book publishing, to record producing, to credit empowerment, to amazing travel, we are here to change your whole life. Let us help you get your life back on track.
Yeah, my wife cannot stand lobster roll.
I've never
I mean, she
tasted
had it so
lobster.
much.
She must be Jewish.
Oh, you kidding? I make a great lobster roll sandwich.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. So
And I
whenever
hear,
you're
When I
over,
was young,
Vince, I
we
hear that
followed
when
the
you dance,
dietary law. So the only
Vince,
thing I've outside of the dietary law is I'll eat bacon, but as far as shrimp and all of that, I don't eat any of that. My kids do, but I just don't.
mm,
They're
well,
like,
that's
Mommy,
the
oh,
I don't
early
feel like
childhood.
anymore. I'm like,
uh,
Well, Vince,
too bad.
you make a mean lobster roll, but I've heard that when you dance, you do a mean Tootsie Roll. Just saying.
Rabbi had to bring in the jokes.
Okay, Rabbi, I'm gonna tell you the truth. At my
Ooh,
wedding, you
yeah.
know what they were saying about my dancing?
What?
They
What?
said
Sit
I
down.
did. They said I danced like a white man with two left feet.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah.
Oh,
I know
oh,
some white
oh.
dudes who can dance though.
Yeah, well, I wasn't one of them. So.
Oh
I
my.
assume they didn't do Hava Nagila and Dance to the Horror. I just assume that.
No, I think it was something to do with me going the wrong direction on the electric slide.
Oh.
But so, all right. So we got this guy. I mean, nobody still knows the motive of why he just went all crazy on the school. I
Yeah.
mean, but here's the thing: he's patterned right after the young lady who did the shooting in the '70s. Remember, she shot up the school that's across the street from her house with
Right.
In
a
the 70s?
semi. Hmm. Yeah, her name was, I think it was Benson. In fact, she she was 16, suffering from depression and anxieties, and like this kid, her parent and the other kid, her parents thought it was great if she gets a gun.
Oh.
So she takes her rifle, props it up, and right across the street from the school is where she lived, where she let off 10 rounds, killing both the principal and the groundskeeper, the janitor.
Wait, did they catch her?
Yeah, well, she was still barricaded in her house, still shooting off rounds. When the police came in, she was barricaded in there. They finally talked her out about 3 o'clock that afternoon, and they asked her why did she do it, and her response was, "I don't like Mondays." So
Oh, there was a
Like
song about
Monday.
that.
that's where the song came from.
Yeah.
I don't like
That is
Mondays.
insane. And you just let people
Mhm.
just get guns. You don't know what their mental health is. You got to take a test to get a driver's license, but you could just go get a gun. I don't understand it.
Oh, well, look, he can go get a gun, but he can't buy a pack of cigarettes.
Can't
Now,
drink.
I did see a meme out there that said, it's a shame that so many children have to be sacrificed in order to guarantee our rights to to the Second Amendment.
The Second Amendment has nothing to do with that. See, this is what I hate about that. How they bastardize the Second Amendment and put it way out of content. You do have a right to bear arms, but there is a part in the Constitution in the Second Amendment that says every regulated militia.
Right.
You are
For a well-regulated
Well,
militia,
they want to bear arms. You got to consider this goes back to I don't want the brown people coming after my stuff.
so now I
think
gotta
about
get a
this,
gun.
right? Let's just think of this theory, right? If brown people revolt in America and say, you know what, y'all wronged us and you ain't giving us no reparations, and we decide to take over, you got to think that that's probably in the hearts and minds of all them people who are trying to think about this replacement theory.
yeah.
That we are justified in our anger and could at any moment, which is why you don't know who the head of Black Lives Matter is. You don't know who the head of these other different groups are for black folk because they will kill them to send a sign to the other black folk.
Wait, hold
Don't
on.
rise up.
Hold on. Is that established fact what you just said? That's
You don't really know
Yeah.
who the leader of Black Lives Matter is. You can't pinpoint who the real leader is
You can't
out of fear that they're going to be killed.
Yeah.
That's strategic.
I never
Right.
even heard that before. I mean, smart.
So
You
think
didn't?
about the replacement theory, right? That they're saying they're going to cut. Why? They think that we're going to revolt.
Well, Dr. Lang, I mentioned this to Vince last week that I've been reading this series through the New York Times. They sponsored a very extensive survey of what happened in Haiti with the great slave rebellions, so to speak. I'm not sure what they're really called, but that's what they called them, and how they were financed by the reparations that had to come from Haiti to France by military force, and how French banks to this day who are responsible and their antecedents for that. It's just fascinating. But I did note that America woke up, whatever America was, whatever waking up was, to the possibility of a slave rebellion and changed our behavior towards slaves in America. We went from viewing them as chattel and valuable property to viewing them with hatred because we were so scared of what happened in Haiti. Bless you.
God bless you.
Well, not only in Hades, let's take it back a little further. Pharaoh saw that the children of Israel were beginning to gain in numbers, and he said at some point in time that they will rise up against us.
Right, and ally with our enemies.
Yeah,
it actually said that in the Bible. And ally, in other words, like a fifth column.
And with my
it was clear cut xenophobia of one nation, one people towards another that were slave-like. To your point, they went from viewing them as slave-like, or what they would turn them into slaves, into hatred of valuable property because of the fear of what they would do to the Egyptians, because of what the black people of America, should they rise up, would do to the white people. And
but here's the thing.
Concept.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Here's one point. How do they know what we're going to do? Except for only thing they know is that we're going to do the same thing to them that they did to us. Is that what they're projecting?
You know, biblically, that's measure for measure. So they had every reason biblically to view that as a possibility. Now, you and I both know that this is insanity run wild, but everything about slavery is insanity. The idea that one human being could own another human being, and when you fear that other human being, you decide to degrade them into subhumanity, not just as property, but as something to be both feared and hated. Feared what you might do to Massa, or what you might do to my wife.
Yeah.
You know, and so now I'm going to treat you with hatred and venom, not just as chattel and property.
Now think about it like that. That's a good point, Rabbi, because the little boy, I'm calling him little boy for a reason, that ran through the protest with his gun, when he shot two white people, it's like, oh my goodness, he was afraid. Oh my goodness, he was afraid. If he was black, he'd have been dead on the spot.
Right.
And that goes back to how we are viewed and how there is inequity and how we are perceived, which is why some of these mass shooters could be taken to McDonald's. Burger King.
Right. It's property.
No. Excuse me, Dr. Lang. Dr. Lang, let's keep this real.
Sure, why not?
During that protest, if the police, now this white guy had someone give him an assault weapon and he walked down the street with the police, they were giving him bottled water. Now, if they saw a black guy at this protest, this peaceful protest with a weapon, he would have been killed on the spot.
Oh, 100%.
They would have had a protest about the protest.
Let's talk about the insurrection. If black folk was just congregating, walking towards the building, it would have been a problem. We wouldn't even have got to the door.
Let me tell you something. On January 6th, if the crowds were black, I can tell you the 101st Airborne Division, the white ones, would have been called in, shoot to kill. You remember that line? Shoot to kill. By the way, that's only been pulled in America. It's only been pulled in America in the 20th century on people who were black rioting. Shoot to kill. If they had been whites, it would have been arrest them.
Exactly.
Rabbi, let me give you some information in terms of military, public service, police, or anything, or even in the street. When you pull out your gun and you shoot, it is to kill. You never shoot to maim or injure or wing. That's that John Wayne Western trick shooting stuff that people like to believe that other people have skill sets to do. No, it is always shoot to kill. Because that is the only way.
Unless you're white.
Oh,
if you're white,
really?
Vince, Dr. Lang and I do not agree with you.
Really?
And listen, you may be speaking factually, but I'm speaking for the emotion of
Mhm.
black riders
Hey, look,
and white
look,
massa in
look,
America in the
look,
20th century.
look. I mean, I'm coming from my experience of my assault training, my military police training. Okay, and so it has always been shoot to kill.
Unless you're
Okay,
white,
listen,
though.
I don't want to
What?
disagree with
Well,
you.
hold on. Oh, whoa. You mean that shoot to kill only works for black people?
Yes.
Listen, it's just shoot to kill
Because
if you're black,
right,
and it's
because
shoot
they're
to kill if
listen,
you
those black people,
overseas
Vince, are
and you
animals.
killing somebody over there.
Okay, listen,
But if
Dr.
you're
Lang and
white,
I are in
it's not
agreement
shoot to
here.
kill.
Black people riding are animals that have to be stopped by shoot to kill. If they're white, for whatever reason, of course, white
There
people
have-
don't ever, no one's going to shoot to kill white people. They're just not going to do it. They're going to arrest them.
That we're going to arrest them
Right.
because they're just having a bad day.
Right. Right. It's
After
like
they take
right.
down the whole Capitol.
Now,
climbing
by the
on
way,
walls,
Vince, you might be
breaking
speaking.
windows.
Vince, you might be speaking factually, but I want to assure you that in my unfactual self, I know I'm right. I know that if those people that assaulted the Congress had been black, that would have been a massacre.
And they would have justified it. They would have
And that
justified
may not be your facts, but as Kellyanne Conway said, here are my alternative facts.
Alternative facts. Yeah.
my alternative facts.
And you better
Yes.
listen to me on this one because I know what I'm talking about.
Okay. All right. We got 10 minutes. I've been trying to get to this subject in a while. It's been brought to my attention that people in the religious community use the same techniques of politicking, backbiting, and, as they say, crab in the barreling to get in the way of other people climbing up the ladder or progressing and moving forward. Anybody else?
No, say it ain't
Oh, you
so.
should. Oh, yeah, it's so.
Wait, I can say this.
It's so.
Did either one of you ever see the movie Casablanca? Did you ever see that movie Casablanca?
Yes.
So the French police chief comes into Rick's cafe and says, "Shut it down. We're shutting it down." And Bogart comes over and says, "Why? What's wrong?" He says, "I'm shocked. I'm shocked. There's gambling going on in this place. I'm just shocked." And then one of his lieutenants comes over and says, "You're winning, sir." Shocked? What the hell is he so shocked about? Gambling going on here. I almost want to say,
I remember that one too.
Come on, are you kidding me?
That makes
Okay.
good sense, Rabbi.
But okay, so what good does it do to stand in someone's way who is working for the Lord?
Oh my God!
What do you
What's your
gain? What do
intention?
they?
If
Why
you
not?
just-
No one wants to give
way
up
you
their
work for
slice of the
yourself.
pie. This is
I
a
mean-
zero-sum game.
Hey! One at a time.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Dr. Lynn.
Go ahead, Rabbi.
Okay, well, no, I was saying in a zero-sum game. That's right. In a zero-sum
Go ahead,
game,
Rab.
no one wants to give up. I'm not willing to give up my slice to Dr. Lang right now. I want to say what I want to say. So there you go.
Okay, so you want to be in the way?
Right. Someone's trying to climb that pole and get up to my apartment in the staircase. I don't want them up there. This is my apartment. Someone wants to.
So you're gonna be in the
pie
way.
that my mother just made and handed me. Here's a pie. If I share that pie with someone else, one slice, that means it's a slice I will never get back. You think I want to do that?
So
You think I want to do that?
so
for
God has a
black
point.
men? I don't even know. Hell no. It's
so
my
God
pie.
so
My pie.
so
Fine.
God has appointed and blessed somebody with certain with a skill set
You're looking at
that can increase and that can increase and build
White
fourfold.
White
But
me.
stand,
Why
but,
am I giving
but
it
you
up
want
to
to
black
stand in the
you?
way.
Listen to me.
Oh.
Why would white
Well,
me want to give up to black you? Why? Why would I give that up? Tell
Because
me.
why?
What be the reason for it?
Why? Well, one. Go ahead, Dr. Lane.
Why? Because the society has created dog eat dog, or white eat white, or black eat black, or black eat white and white eat black. It's like it's a whole thing. We've gone from community to me, and me. It's my stuff. Look, you can't even wear a mask. I don't want to wear a mask because I can't breathe.
Wait, no,
Never
wait a minute,
mind,
wait a
your
minute.
grandma might die. It's doing too much.
Dr.
We've
Lang,
gone to
what do
this
you mean
whole
giving that?
individualistic.
First of all, I never shared anything with you. I'm the white guy that brought you over here to work on my plantation. All of a sudden, you got free. Okay, so you're not my responsibility anymore. Oh, you're climbing up to the plantation steps, and you want the curtains? You want the doorway?
I want the whole thing, Rabbi.
Right,
I want
right.
the
And I don't
whole
want
thing.
you touching anything of mine because that's a slice of my pie. Why would I give that up to you? It's bad enough
But what if
Because
you-
I made that pie in the kitchen. I made that pie in the kitchen. In your kitchen.
Vince, I'm asking you, why in the world would I give Dr. Lang my pie? It's mine.
First of all, you're not giving Dr. Lang your pie. Dr. Lang has now grown and had a skill set to make her own pie. She's just not making it for you to prosper off of. So
Well, then don't
why
come to me for
now?
reparations.
Why
Wait, why come to me for
now?
reparations?
Why now are you standing on her neck in the way?
Because now
I'm not saying
the
I
money
just
is
have
on
my
the
pie.
table. Now I can take some of the money, some of the piece of the pie, just like the Jeffersons.
We finally got our piece of the rock.
Okay, so listen, while you're
finally
moving
got
uptown,
moving on
listen, while you're
upstairs.
moving up, all right? If
Okay,
you're moving
so-
up, that means someone is losing. Some good white
Okay.
Absolutely.
is losing something.
Really?
You think I
Well,
want to help you black
the
people come and
mentality.
take my white stuff? Come on. Why would I
Here
do
is
that?
the thing. Here's the thing. You're the ones that caused us to move into this level of excellence because we had to be 5 times better than your mediocre grandkids so that we could get half the pay.
Well, then you
That's
should
why
be
we're
happy
moving
about
up.
that.
But now that we taking out of
That's
their
why-
kids' mouth now.
Listen,
Oh, we ain't taking nothing. They
Listen,
got
we brought you
generational
over-
wealth.
listen,
We're
we
just trying to
white-
pay the mortgage.
we whiteys brought you over from Africa. We gave you some skills. You should be grateful. Now you're free.
Isn't that
all
how
right?
they think? Yup. You let me tell you something. I have people look at me just like that. Like they're not saying it. That's
You think I'm
exactly
making this
what-
up
when
out
I
of
tell
thin
them I
air?
have a degree. So when they see me, they think it's just a little old black lady. But then when I open my mouth and I say I got 6 degrees and all this kind of stuff, they look at me like, wait a minute. You're not supposed to do that. You should be grateful that we allowed you in this space. Don't try
Right.
and come take over. Just
Right.
sit here, be seen, and not heard. All you're supposed to do is to be the token black person for inclusion and diversity. We didn't
Right.
ask you
And by the way,
Yes.
if you
Yeah,
think that I'm
but we
such a-
have, but the token black person, we have a representative. His name is Clarence Thomas.
Oh yeah, yeah. By the way, he's representing Oreo cookies next month when they come out with their new advertising campaign.
What? What? White cookie and black cream now?
Well,
I mean-
is the first time you ever heard
That
that
would be
before?
interesting.
You never heard that before? Boy, you really have been living under a rock. Let me tell you something.
I
If you
heard
think
it.
that what I
It just never
said,
was funny.
listen, if you think what I just said was great play acting, which it was, by the way, but if you think it's great play acting, let me tell you something. I got teachers down my block. I cannot tell you how much America, white America, even light-skinned black America feels what I've just told you.
Yeah.
Because in the world, when people get a pie, a slice of that pie, whatever, very few want to give that up. Because as you
Right.
said, Dr. Lang, this is where I disagree with you. Very few people want to share because it's fair. No one wants to share because it's fair. And even though I
Okay.
had you working, making pies for me all your life, those are my pies because
Okay.
I owned you. And now you're free. You go make your own pies. You think I'm play
Okay.
acting? Let me tell you something.
Okay.
That's what America's
Ra- ra-
thinking.
Rabbi, I
see
get it.
that.
I get it in the world. But in that little small world called my house of worship and faith, why are people using those same techniques?
Great
Because
question.
what we have today is westernized, colonized understanding of who God is. Westernized, colonized, massa telling brown people how to be more like massa. And so now outside of the community of faith, inside of the community of faith is westernized and colonized. If we're going to let massa teach our kids, we also going to let massa tell us how to believe God.
Well, Dr. Lang, are you insinuating that our religion is whitewashed?
Not only is your
insinuating
religion
that it is
whitewashed-
westernized and colonized.
Wait, listen,
And
not
this
only
is
is your
the
religion
accepted or
whitewashed,
rejected.
but every time I go into a Christian church that has a representation of Jesus,
And he's
and I
blonde
look
and
up
blue
there at
eyes.
that the blue eyes and that beautiful mane of blonde hair, and I think, is that what my ancient counterparts in Palestine
And
look like?
shaved and well shaved.
Yeah.
You.
Let me tell you
They
something.
said Jesus was woolly.
He was a will. By the way, I don't want to take off
Woolly.
my shirt, Dr. Lang, but I could show you some Judean Palestinian woolliness right there. I'm just telling you right now.
Whoa, Rabbi,
I know.
whoa.
It's a family program. I know it's a family
It's
program.
yeah. You don't want people throwing dollars at their video
And
screen.
it said that he wasn't. It said that Jesus wasn't attractive.
Yeah, let me tell you this. If I go into a Western European church or those Protestant churches that came over to America, and I look
Actually, they
at
said he looked
representations
normal,
of
regular.
Jesus, who is considered God by the Christian religions, unless you want to correct me on that, that's what God looks like? Massa? All right? I got news for you. He's like, let me tell you what Jesus looked like. A kid who just finished his bar mitzvah with a little yarmulke on and just sprouting some facial hair on his way to woolliness of the ancient.
Probably had the little circle, the little curly joints.
Yeah, we don't call them curly joints. We call them curly fries. Curly fries. Right.
I am never getting you two in a room together again. God, it's like
Family program, Vince.
I'm gonna have to give one of you a timeout. Or maybe
by the way, Vince, you would
where's
not
the
be
imam when you need him? I mean,
Imam is so nice and so straight.
Why?
I don't even want to say something around him.
Why in the house of the Lord do we bite people in the back or kick their back in? Do we spread lies and rumors about them? Why in the house of the Lord do we stand in their way when God has blessed them with skills and talents to help further the church? Why?
What's in you is going to come out of you. And if you learn a bunch of foolishness in the community of faith, that's what's going to come out of you, a bunch of foolishness. If you focus on who God is and how God is moving instead of your personal agenda, then maybe it will look different inside the community of faith.
So Dr. Lang has just told us in a very highfalutin level why it is. I'm going to tell it to you straight. Whenever you mix,
give me the dope.
Whenever you mix faith with people, community, it will equal politics. And the very art, the degrading art of politics is putting people down so you rise to the top. And that's what's going on in churches. By the way, it's in our houses of worship as well. And I don't want to speak for the imam, but I've seen it in houses of worship in the Islamic traditions as well. People getting together in communities are political institutions. And you're going to see all the illnesses of life. If they're out there, they're going to be in there. And by the way, just so that we're clear, any one of us who reads the Torah, the 5 books, the prophets, the writings, will see it in there too. You see politics in there as well. And it's dirty. And the only thing I can say is sometimes if we take some of the teachings from some of the great masters of history, faith masters, you'll see that they preach that really there are no colors and there are no levels, that it is between us and God, and we are all made in God's image. I know the imam would join us in saying that if you were here. So I'm just going to say to you, and I'm going to speak about Malcolm, Brother Malcolm. He went on a pilgrimage to Arabia, at the time called Saudi Arabia. And what did he see coming from a perspective where he had been told that the white man was the devil, the white devil, the blue-eyed devil? And he saw people of his faith, of all different colors, and they didn't care. They didn't care about the colors. They were there on Hajj, on pilgrimage, to be one with the one God. Malcolm taught us that in the 20th century. And there have been scores, if not hundreds, of teachers along the way who've taught us that. But they are overly crowded in a field of political religious practitioners who sought to rise to their own level in order to put themselves on top of political animals. Period. Sorry about that.
Rabbi, this is only an hour-long show.
Sorry, I'm done.
You,
I'm done. I'm done.
you gotta
If it
you
was
gotta
me, Dr.
limit your
Lang, we'd have the whole
dissertations.
thing figured out right now.
Yes. Okay. So, what will it take? Let me change shifts here. Subject here. What is it going to take for us to get some gun laws, some background checks to reduce the shooting that's going on, the mass shootings? We've had 20 of them since the last one in the schools, with the schools. What is it going to take?
You know,
Now, mass shooting.
It's going to take. It's not going to change as long as replacement theory is embedded in the fabric of this country, and the fear factor is used to manipulate the media and the people, where fear is inserted and implanted in the hearts and minds of white people that they need their guns to protect them from who might take their stuff. It's never going to change.
Well, let me break this down. Fear is pushed and peddled by the politicians, established highly or actually really brought to a high level by Ronald Reagan, because he made us fear the Russians so much that we spent billions of dollars in nukes that we're never going to use. Fear is therefore placed on the media because it brings advertisement dollars.
Well, therein lies the question that you asked. You said, what's it going to take? Dr. Lang said, look, it's never going to happen. But I want to answer your question. I want to actually address the question of what's it going to take. And here's what it's going to take.
2 minutes or less?
The people that make the money from guns and the people that fuel that money making, it's all about following the money. When the money leads to saving lives, when the money leads to saving lives as opposed to taking lives, that's when we'll solve it. It has to be financially in the interest of the makers and the purchasers. That's
the movie Rush Hour said, follow the rich white man. That's what he said. Follow the rich white man in Rush Hour.
Follow the money. Follow the money. That's where it goes.
Because
when the president
politicians,
of the NRA, somebody show up in his house and shoot him and his family, then maybe something will change.
That may make it.
I doubt it.
That may make it worse.
I doubt it because the gun manufacturers will just find another person to do their bidding.
Right? They'll just go. They'll say, "Oh, it's a black man that shot the NRA guy, or he's a Jewish guy, or he's a Korean, or he's an A. Let's go get more of them." Now, I'm not sure that's going to be the right address. The right address is when these people find it's worth taking guns away rather than providing them, whatever that means. And I don't want to make people any richer. I really don't.
Here's my theory. Why don't we exercise or show them who has the true power? The true power
by doing what?
That's a good question.
Let the people with the true power who go to these polls and do all their voting, let's start voting these Republicans out. Let's
first talk about why a lot of people don't even vote. Let's talk about that. Can we get them to the poll? Because if it's not something phenomenal going on, because you can vote for the president and you still put judges, you still put senators, you still put Congress people who vote against the president. So first of all, you got to get them to the poll.
Here's the rule. Here's the rule of thumb. There are 40% who are going to vote for you. There are 40% that aren't going to vote for you. When's the election is the 20% and how you can sway it. So 40% of the white people are going to vote for this candidate. 40% of the white people are not going to vote for this candidate. It's the black vote that does the actual change. So if it is the black vote that they need to get this person in power, then why does that person not listen to the black people? Joe Biden said black.
No.
Because you got black folks who are not in alignment with other black folks.
The president of the United States said, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. So the black people said, they will vote for you.
And then he
praised the vote.
No, they didn't. They got mad.
They got mad.
How dare
you say that? You're a white man. You can't say that about us, whether it's true or not.
Right. He says, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. And what I'm saying is, they voted for him. South Carolina voted for him and put him back in the game.
Why do we keep here's the thing, and this is how I say we do it. We come out in masses for presidential elections if we like a president. but we don't come out for primaries. We don't come out for midterms. We don't vote in more of these Democrats, and we don't vote heavily on our local elections. That's how they started to do things like gerrymandering, redlining, and actually redistricting the district to take your power, your vote out.
Okay, here's the problem with
we
that.
don't
In West Virginia,
That's
remember
the
West
problem. We don't
Virginia?
connect the
The
dots
black,
to say
the black people
local
vote for a
district.
Democrat. Black people
Okay,
vote for a
well-
Democrat, and he betrays the black people. He betrays America, right?
Oh, so does Herschel Walker, but he seems to think he's going to win.
Okay, I'm just going to repeat myself. When you tell me that voting is the answer, I got news for you. A lot of people vote for people that are terrible. So voting is only the answer if enough people that believe what you believe.
That's what I'm talking about.
Vote. That's the answer.
If we have that same level of passion for the presidential election, because we needed to get 45 the heck out of Washington, if we keep that same energy going, keep our foot on the gas for this midterm, all we need is to get rid of, all we need is 5 more Democrats. 7 more would be perfect.
Would be.
You know what? If was a fifth, we'd all be drunk.
What's that?
Yeah.
Wait, I didn't understand that.
There's a whole lot of ifs going on, and they're not going to the polls.
Wait,
If it's not something tragic, it's not somebody, some phenomenal thing.
Dr. Lang, hold on. Dr. Lang, break it down because that went over his head. The if part.
I didn't understand what you said. I'm sorry.
I said if was a fifth, we'd all be drunk.
Oh. Yeah.
Oh.
See, the problem is Manischewitz doesn't come in fifths.
Yeah,
that's the whole issue.
Mad Dog
That's the whole issue.
We gave you Mad Dog. You should be grateful.
Yeah.
And I don't even drink.
I don't even drink, but I'm grateful for it.
You know that Mad Dog is black culture in America. Come on, you know that.
Oh, yeah, Mad Dog is black culture in America. No, it's not. They drink Night Train now. Night Train, Thunderbird, Ripple.
Well, we started you on the light stuff, and then we just increased it because Jews are trying to replace everyone.
But back to the subject.
Yeah.
If we get together and start voting out all of these crazy behind Republicans who believe in the big lie theory, who believe in the replacement theory, who want to push fear, who do their dog whistling like Lindsey Graham, they're trying to get rid of me and there's more money. Sick them.
You know what? I have to beg to differ. Here's what I think. I think there needs to be a balance of Democrats and Republicans. There's got to be a balance.
There is a balance. We can't get nowhere.
And Republicans can go way crazy. And I think when it's done right, they will balance each other out.
Okay.
When it's done right.
Can I just say to Dr. Lang? Dr. Lang, you know I love and I respect you. I think you are better than white sliced bread in my world. Okay. However,
thank you.
I know you're the greatest.
However,
I think you are dreaming so hard you may never wake up from your stupor. That is, you drank the fifth and more. There is nothing in what you just said.
I think she knocked out that whole. She knocked out that whole fifth of Morgan David by herself with that statement.
Captain Morgan and Morgan David together.
But you got to think about how people are thinking. Under our former president, SBA loan, everybody was getting money. The gate, everybody got money. As soon as the Democrats came in, they closed the gate, everybody broke. You got to look at the mindset of people. They're not looking at the intricate details. They're looking at when the Republicans everybody got money.
Dr. Lang, on our former president and those SBA loans, wasn't everybody getting it. It was just the top 5% that was getting all that money. When it came time for the trickle,
a lot of folks who got money.
When it came down to the trickle down,
Vince, let's try to solve Dr. Lang's
theory about the SBA loan. When you want your friends to get money, you got to open the gate and say, everybody just go. So somebody going to slip through the cracks. When you want your friends to get money and you want to lower the standard and you say, look, just apply, you got to do it for everybody. And as soon as the gatekeeper said, all right, we're not letting everybody else in, that was a Democrat gatekeeper, because the Republican was like, come on, y'all, it's open. For the top 5, everybody else who slid right through.
Exactly.
So the people are saying,
okay,
we got
so here's
money.
my question, Dr.
Now
Lang.
we got nothing.
Dr.
Now,
Lang,
now,
I know
the, now we're up to the bottom 50, and it dried up. But we got billions of dollars going to Ukraine, y'all.
Right. So let's
We
go
do.
back to the meat and potatoes
And the
of Dr.
restaurants
Lang's
didn't get their
problem.
money.
Okay, listen. How? Well, this is Vince's question and Dr. Lang's answer, and I'm confused. You want things to get better? All right. You want things to get better? Well, we know we can't throw a lot of money out there because we know whose pockets it goes into. And we know that we can't pull out the guns because that'll just make people buy more guns. We know we can't shoot the NRA people. We can't shoot them because then they'll just arm other people and divide and kill and conquer.
Not to mention the NRA people hire people with guns to protect them.
Yeah, yeah. And then you've got other people. You got the house man, and I'm not going to say the N word, but you got the house man who's saying, I like this cushy house up here. I don't like those black folk out there that might be munching from my pie. So they hire Clarence Thomas. They hire Clarence Thomas and they put him in Uncle Tom's chair. And they say, look, we got a black man. We got a black man.
Okay.
We're not giving away any slices.
Rabbi, first of all, Uncle Tom was the hero.
Well,
It was the other two who were the actual villain.
That's fine.
In fact,
Uncle
Tom even
people use that in a negative way.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's not my purpose. My purpose is to say we take black people and we put them in these positions and you say, oh, look, we got that window dressing here. Look, you're represented now. You're good. You're good. No, we're not. Because I'm going to tell you right now, listen, I'm going to go back to Charlottesville. I said this to you a couple weeks running now. Charlottesville, these guys with tiki torches and their white shirts and their khaki pants, they march down the street and they say, Jews will not replace us. And what they mean is the Jews are bringing in the black people to take our jobs, take our slices of pie, take our white women, and take all those things that we had that they should be having.
Our houses in the suburb, our middle management jobs. Yeah.
Right. So all I'm saying is,
how dare they drive our business?
Ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, we are in the same boat. Right now, we are in the exact same boat. I don't care how white I am or how dark you are. We three wise ones are in the same boat today. And the boat is really the future of America. And I got
the future of America is going to be what we make it. And let's start by once. Oh yeah, baby, it's going to be what we make it. If we get out there and start making change, we change the future of America. And the problem is we only rise up when there's this huge tragedy of mass proportion, and then 2 weeks after it dies down, we get lulled back in stupidity. We got to keep our foot on the gas.
There's a disparity in who holds the power and who holds the purse strings. And when it comes to economic disparities and it comes to power disparities, you're never going to make a change when the disparity is so big. There's no way we can catch up to the generational wealth of white people. There's no way. No way.
This goes back to the place of the pie.
Use it.
I can't even free up pie to give people. I can't even free up a slice of pie, let alone this disparity you're talking about. I can't even hand out a slice, let alone a ketchup. A ketchup is too far away.
Look, don't get me wrong. I know that they have been winning the race in terms of generational wealth. I know some guys who grandkids. Wait a minute, their grandkids still got money with Confederate flags on it. Okay, I know that. And here's the thing: every time we get close to winning, they change the goalposts.
Yeah.
So what we have to do is keep our foot on the gas. I know it's exhausting. I know you're tired of hearing about politics. I know you're tired of hearing about this person and that person. But here's the thing. Once we get sick and tired of being sick and tired and stop sitting on our butts, just being sick and tired, and get out there and vote, and not only get out there and vote, but get our friends to vote. All over social media. Tell those people to vote too. Because we need to get some people in there to make some change.
Let me just ask you this.
Let me tell you what's going to happen. Let me tell you what's going to change this country, right?
Go ahead.
Let me tell you what's going to happen.
Okay.
When white people stand up and say, we want y'all to go back to slavery. And that's really what we want. When somebody is bold enough to stand up and say, what we want is for the brown folk to go back to slavery and we be on top, because that is the trajectory. When somebody stands up and say it, then maybe brown people will come together. But until it's just that serious,
Dr. Lang, they did say that. They did say that. During COVID. And in fact, they said it's so nice, they called them essential workers.
No. I'm talking about when somebody stand up and say, we want the N-words to go back to be the N-words, and we are revolting. That young man who shot up the church in Charleston, he said he was trying to start a race war. That young man in Buffalo was trying to start a race war. They are being fed by a base. When that base stands up and says, this is the goal, get the brown people out and go back to the plantation. When they do that, then black people will stand up and say, oh, no, I'm never going back to slavery.
Vince, what do you think about that?
Happens,
I'm just curious. What's your thinking about that? Because that's a new thought to me. I haven't given that much thought.
It goes even further than it goes even further.
Y'all going back to slavery.
It goes even further than that. Okay, Charles Manson did the same thing with his Helter Skelter. He wanted to start a race riot, the race war. Okay, everybody keeps looking for this war. Okay, they're looking for the revolution that's supposed to be televised or that will not be televised. They're looking for black people to rise up and start killing white people aimlessly. And that is the fear that they've been pushing since the end of slavery.
Yes.
We're not looking to rise up and kill people.
Listen,
they're waiting for their
president.
Right. That's the fear that the Haitian Revolution put into Americans.
Almost a moment. They was biting they was chomping at the bit. They thought that was almost a moment.
Exactly. But instead of getting black people to rise up, what he did was get a whole bunch of white people to storm the Capitol. And then after they looked bad, all the other white people went, that's not us. That's not what America is. Yes, it is.
I don't know. I listen. I was giving half of America.
I would imagine they tried to get some brown people to go storm that Capitol. Brown people are not crazy, even if.
Wait, Dr. Lang, I saw one black person there.
Like I'm a Republican. You are not crazy. Yeah. You are not crazy. Ain't no brown person going to go do none of that insurrection stuff, because at the beginning of the day and at the end of the day, you might say you my friend, but when the rubber hits the road, guess who's gonna get shot? Brown people. Yeah. We ain't crazy. We might dance with the devil,
no, because there are some brown people who think it's better to be their pet than to be their food.
But you see, and none of them went to the insurrection, though. This is what I'm trying to tell you.
Yes, she did. Yes, she did. She did. She lost. She ran for senator. They got pictures of her. They got pictures of her walking with.
I'm talking about when you saw all of those white people climbing fences, busting in the Capitol. You ain't see no brown people. There's no brown people out there. We ain't crazy.
Yeah, she was out there pushing her little stroller and then had the nerve to run for senator, Republican.
In Pennsylvania.
In Pennsylvania.
Was that the insurrection?
Yeah.
They got videos of her walking with the Proud Boys.
Yeah.
But did she go inside?
I don't know about that, but
you know the irony.
I don't know about that.
She wasn't going inside.
There was some irony.
She wasn't standing out front talking about let me in. No,
listen,
she wasn't.
Remember what I mentioned earlier?
But she wasn't going inside.
Hold on. Remember what I said earlier about the house Negro? I'm sorry to use the word, but the house Negro, how the light-skinned ones, they put them in a nice suit, and they said, you keep those other ones out in the fields working, but you're going to have this privileged position. That was her role. She was out there. She was out there because she was the house.
No,
but she did not go inside. You ain't seen no brown people inside.
Her mind was inside.
Yeah. The other idiot who was waiting because
she is not crazy.
And the other idiot that they had with the MAGA hat on, standing up there in the Capitol building on a chair, looking at everything going on. Yeah,
did not go inside.
He was inside. You could Google his picture. Black dummy at the Capitol.
I think I did see someone like that. But you know what? His hair was straight then, so I can't really give him much stop.
Okay, we're gonna wrap this up. So, final words. Let's start with you, Dr. Lane.
We talked about so much today. Our topic was left, right, and indifferent. The bottom line is that you have to get yourself together. You have to choose a side, and you've got to get committed to what you want to see change in the world. And you have to be the first one to change you before you can change anybody else.
Okay, Rabbi, I got the timer on you. And
Just say it straight. I've told people if you don't bring 5 people to the polls in the fall, then you are not on my side. Bring me 5 people, each one of you, to the polls. Otherwise, we are going down with this boat, all of us together. And I'm saying that to you too as well. That's all I got to say.
You're right.
Look, we've got an upcoming election, and everybody right now, because our country is in so much turmoil. And we've got some people who are looking to make legislation to do some changes. Yet they keep getting blocked and instructed by people in the way. People who don't want us to turn to power or rise to power because they think that we're going to replace them. But more and more, as they talk about replacing us, the streets of heaven become crowded because these people who think that we're replacing them are coming in and they're killing our students, our children, our brothers, our sisters, our teachers, our family. The streets of heaven are becoming crowded because we can't get any laws passed, because people are spending more time taking money from the lobbyists to keep the guns going than they are looking to keep people safe. The streets of heaven get crowded every day with mass shooting after mass shooting, needless people dying because people won't stand up and do what's fundamentally right. It's time for us to be the heroes that we need right now. It is time for us to get out and start voting. It is time to us to take the challenge. As when President Kennedy said that America will be the first ones on the moon. We stood up to the challenge. We did what was hard, but we made it great for the rest of the world. It is time for us to take that same thing. Let's stand up to the politicians. Let's tackle the hard parts. Let's make America great for everyone, not for those who just wear a hat and want you to send them money, but make America truly great for all Americans. I'm Vincent Squire. If God's will, I'll be back tomorrow, and we'll be talking with Dr. Milton from Black History 365. God bless everyone.